Hi, Neil. It's so good to have you here. Welcome to our fireside chat.
Thank you. It's my absolute pleasure to have a quick chat with you today.
Amazing. So, Neil, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, happy to. Originally from Scotland, you've probably guessed I'm not a native Singaporean. Been here for about 15 years. Background in tech and consulting, advisory, transformation for the last sort of 20, 25 years. I work for people like Gartner and Carney and Accenture and stuff like that. And now have my own business called Future Horizon. So I'm a technology futurist and I focus on frontier and emerging technologies, and I advise boards and C-level executives what's coming over the horizon, what's going to happen next, what should they be investing in, maybe what is maybe overhyped and they should be avoiding as well.
Sounds exciting. So, Neil, tell me, what are you looking to learn or get out of an event like GITEX?
Look, I think there's an awful lot of variety here, which is great. You know, you've got all the big MNCs and stuff like that. You've got some startups upstairs who are doing some really interesting, innovative things. So for me, as a futurist, getting an idea in terms of what else might be sort of happening that maybe is not necessarily normally on my research radar is always kind of beneficial. And look, meeting new people, networking is always good as well. So yeah, good event so far.
That's amazing. So now coming to the questions, what tech trend do you think is overhyped and the trend that's not getting a lot of attention that it deserves?
Okay, so I'm going to be slightly contrarian here, and I should watch for any snipers in the crowd. So I'm going to say that Gen AI is overhyped at this stage. So
That's
sorry,
controversial.
not sorry. Look, there's nothing wrong with the technology in and of itself, but how it has been hyped, how it has been marketed, that it's like fire, or it's like the wheel, or it's like the internet, and it's going to completely change everything. I think at this stage we're seeing that it isn't. It can do some great things. So using a sort of chat interface in a conversational way, fantastic. Image generation, I use it all the time, fantastic. But it is non-deterministic. You never know what you're going to get out of it. And so the inconsistency, I think, it is a problem. And even like the latest models that we're seeing are actually getting worse in terms of hallucination and stuff like that. So, I think what companies are actually now seeing is they've put an awful lot of money last year into, okay, let's make this happen. Let's turbocharge it. And actually the value isn't there yet. Maybe it will come, but I think at this stage, and if you look at where it is on the Gartner hype cycle, it's going down, right? So people are beginning to go, maybe it's not quite what it should have been. So nothing wrong with the tech. I actually think it's just been overhyped a wee bit too much.
Makes sense. I think the output is what will count, right? And what's the technology you think isn't getting enough attention?
Okay, so I'd like to give some love to augmented reality. Okay, so I'm very bullish on that, and obviously being a futurist, I'm thinking what's coming over the horizon, what's going to happen later on. So as you can see, I wear viewing orbs, and so being able to have that amalgamation of physical and digital. I'm going to not use the word phygital because I really don't like it, but having that sort of crossover between the two, I think could be enormously powerful in many ways. And there are some great advancements on there, I think. And, people will say things like the Apple Vision Pro, once you actually wear it, you really get a sense of what it can do and how powerful and really interesting it can be in terms of its unique capabilities. But it is just a set of capabilities, right? But it can solve some problems. It can do some good stuff. Yes, you look like a dork. Yes, the batteries aren't great and so on. You might get a headache. That's fine, but it will come good. I'm really pretty bullish at this point.
Future is exciting. Let's see what comes up next. All right. What's your favorite interview question to ask at interviews?
Okay, so here's my secret weapon, which I'm going to share with everybody. So I've used this for years, and I ask this at the very end of every single interview of anybody that I speak to, whether it's for junior, senior role, business, tech, whatever. And I make sure that I do it after I give the candidate chance to ask me some questions, about the role and the opportunity in the company and so on. And so I'll ask you it right now. And why I like to ask it is it gives me a little window into you, and it puts you slightly off kilter. So, because you won't be prepared for it. So, if you had to describe yourself, who you are today, right now, as an animal, what type of animal are you, and why?
That's an interesting question. I would say I'm a dog, because here I am asking people questions, and I'm putting on my curiosity hat today. I'm trying to be curious about what everybody is doing here and understanding more about where they come from. So I would say I'm a dog today.
Fantastic. Look, there's no wrong answer to this as long as you give me some form of answer. It's when people freeze, it shows that they can't think on their feet, they can't think dynamically.
Yeah.
So, and often the answer is actually very amusing, and you know, we can have a laugh about it, and it's a very light-hearted way to end the interview. So I'd encourage you to use it.
I hope I did
Try
okay.
it. You were fine. Yeah, absolutely. You're on to the next round.
If I had to throw that back at you, what animal do you think you are today?
Okay, so I go by the moniker of the big hairy talking bear, futurist. So I guess I'm a bear. So you know, I'm big and I'm hairy, and I like eating salmon. So there you go. So I'm a bear.
That's a good answer. So Neil, talk to me a little bit about what allyship means to you in the tech industry.
For me, it's all about people, right? So regardless of change in the technology and everything else, it really is all about people. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I am male, native English speaker, middle class, white, you know, so I had everything just through sheer luck. So certainly when I've been in senior leadership positions in other companies, I've tried to sort of say, let's get a wider gamut of people, let's give people a chance. You know, for example, I used to be an interim CTO at a reg tech startup who were actually upstairs, and you know, hired an amazing engineer, and even just during the interview process, I knew she was a rock star. She's now the engineering lead. She's going places, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, very, very positive, very much an ally, and I try certainly to do what I can.
That's amazing. We need more people like you to be allies in the field. Coming to the last question, what do you think of Signify's new talent acquisition as a service?
You know, I'm positive on it. I think for a long time, talent acquisition has actually been quite staid, quite conservative, quite antiquated, and it doesn't really work for anybody, really. It's not great from a candidate perspective, from the people that are in recruitment, and ultimately then the end companies. So look, I'm always looking to the future. I say very much the future is something that we do, right? It doesn't just happen to us. And so this type of model is certainly the type of thing that I would encourage companies to, at the very least, be aware of. And look, dabble, give it a try, and see how you go with it.
That's great. Hoping you can endorse the service to as many people as possible. Neil, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you for chatting with us.
That's my great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.